Good morning, and thank you for the invitation to speak today. I was telling Dr. Ibarra that I was quite pleased to be able to come here today because I understand they have been inviting me since my days in PMS, and this is the only time I've had a chance to come and speak to you today. So I'll try to be a little informal and not keep me standing here for longer than necessary. First, siguro, as Yusek Carolina had mentioned, I'm now the Executive Director of the Philippine Business Coalition for Women Empowerment, which is a network of large, influential employers that are really, that believe that they can be good advocates for and best examples for workplace gender equality. So we were founded in 2017, quite young, with 7 founding members. So that's Ayala, Accenture, Convergys, which is now Concentrix, the Magsaysay group of companies, Natasha, the direct sellers, SGB, the Philippines partner of Ernst & Young and accounting firm, professional services firm, and the SSI group, which is part of the Rustan's family. They handle luxury retail. Later on, over the next 2 years, we also added Insular Life, our first insurance member, and the Philippine National Bank, which is our first local bank. So why does PBCWE work on women empowerment? We always get this from the CEOs we work with, especially the male CEOs. Okay. Does the Philippines still need women empowerment? Women are very empowered in the Philippines. Actually, it's the men who need empowerment, because they're the ones who are being overpowered by women. These are some of the things said half in jest that we get from the CEOs that we work with. In fact, they even provide us some data. The Philippines is doing so well in terms of women empowerment that actually we're the only country in the Asia Pacific that's in the top 10 of the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Report. Which is true, we are number 8 out of 10 and the only country in Asia Pacific. But if you look at the numbers a little bit more closely, we're one of the bottom ones in terms of women's economic participation, labor force participation. And why is that? That means that there are a lower percentage of women who work as a percentage of the entire population in the Philippines as compared to the other countries surveyed in the Global Gender Gap Report. And why is that? Number one, I want to stress, it's really not because the women in the Philippines are not educated enough or not qualified for the jobs. Because again, if we look at data from the Philippine Statistics Authority, women actually have a higher functional literacy rate, and they're actually, on average, a greater percentage of women go through tertiary education than men. So it's not that women are less qualified. Again, the question we asked was, maybe it's because women don't want to work, they want to stay at home and do care work. PBCWE and BFAT Australia, which is our funder, we ran a survey to a number of women just to see if you were given a chance, would you work? And the overwhelming answer was yes. And the reasons behind that, of course, because Filipinas, Wagas, they're very other-centered. The reason for wanting to work is really, number one, to help out with family income. But number two is to become financially independent as well. This is something that women care about. So second, if women had the chance to work, they would do so. But again, if you look at a recent NEDA study, which is also confirmed by another study that PBCWE conducted with the Makati Business Club, one of our partners, because Makati Business Club is concerned that there are not enough females in the C-suite, what we call the C-suite, or female CEOs in the Philippines, that can help Makati Business Club run their board with a little bit more of a diverse opinion. So we asked, why are women not getting to C-suite? Why are they not advancing to more senior levels professionally? And really the reason behind it is because if you look at the career trajectory of women, once they get to their peak childbearing age, you will see that they slowly begin to drop out of the workforce. I guess people could say that, this is maybe a voluntary action, but really it's because of a lot of societal expectations about the roles of women and the roles of men. At their childbearing ages, men are expected to step up and earn for the family, while women are supposed to kind of take a step back and care for their children at home. Which is not to say that it's a bad thing, but really in an economy like ours, where dual family incomes are important, it's really important for us to keep women in the workforce, not only for their own independent, economic independence, but for family incomes also, and for the economy as a whole. So maybe I'll talk a little bit more about why do companies care about diversity? Why do our members work with us and try to get more women into their workforce? So, other than being the right thing to do, which is to give women a chance to pursue their own independent growth alongside men, for the business sector, having a more diverse mix of employees is actually good business. If we look at numbers generated by a study made by the Boston Consulting Group with the Technical University of Munich, what they call innovation revenue, which is really income that's generated from new products and services that the company thinks of, is higher when the mix of employees is more diverse, meaning there are equal numbers of men and women. People are from different parts of the country. They have a varied set of skills. They have a good mix of ages, which I see you have here in Lima. It's a very diverse group of people. I see in front of me. So that's good for your innovation levels. So companies innovate more when there's more kinds of thinking in the room. Parang very intuitive, right? If you're a different set of people around the table, you think of different potential solutions to a particular problem. So companies that are more innovative make decisions faster. They have more revenue related to innovation or thinking of new things. But also the study stresses that this only happens when there's a significant percentage of diversity. So 1 or 2 token people doesn't work. There has to be over 20% sort of diversity in the mix. And it also doesn't work if the diversity only exists in sort of staff levels. The impact is greater when diversity exists in senior management levels and in top levels of the company. So, now that I've said all of this, diversity is important, it's good for business, it's a smart thing to do aside from being the right thing to do. What is business doing about it? And I think, I was telling you, Secretary and Dr. Ibarra earlier, even if all these things that I'm talking about is really from the perspective of business or private sector, I think that you will find that they're also very applicable to all kinds of organizations, even those in the public sector. So what we are doing is we're working with leaders. I'm sure you know this. The character of your leadership, and you're lucky to have one who's like Carolina, is really reflected in the quality and the behavior and the caliber of the rest of the organization. So in our work in PBCWE, when we recruit members and we talk about what kinds of reforms, policy, or capacity building that we will implement within the company, it's really important for us to talk to senior management and even CEOs. That's one. Second, talking about leadership, I think that workplace gender equality is really something that doesn't work if the only ones that are talking about it are women. I mean, speaking to the converted, right? So the other thing that we do, and we have a special sort of initiative around this, is really to work with male CEOs who will talk to their peers and explain to them why it's important for them as male CEOs to get more women into senior management and positions of responsibility in their organization. So we have a smaller group of male CEOs called Male Champions of Change. They're affiliated with an Australian group, there's a Pakistani group and a US group as well. But it's really male CEOs speaking with women, beside women, as advocates for diversity in the workplace. The second thing that we do is really to do an assessment of policies. So we work with companies to look at, to assess the level of workplace gender equality in each company. And then we work with them to look at their policies to see how they can be tweaked or reformed or new policies formulated in order to help them achieve their targets. Third, we also believe that workplace gender equality, of course it's about talking to leaders, of course it's about policies, but it's also really heavily about culture. So we have a lot of modules. We have an anti-sexual harassment module, speaking about the 18-day campaign. We have an anti-sexual harassment module, which we work with HR managers to educate the managers and how to train their staff on how to identify cases of sexual harassment, how to be able to encourage people to report it, and how to make sure that it goes through fairly within the internal processes of the company. We also have a gender communications module, which we work with. We work with advertisers, we work with internal communications groups within companies to make sure that the way we talk reflects a culture of workplace gender equality, a culture of respect and acceptance of differences within the organization. And the other thing we do, which is kind of new, that's why I would like to talk about it a little bit more. We believe that all these things, gender stereotypes, or breaking gender stereotypes, or reinforcing gender stereotypes, it's really something that begins at home. So we developed with Magsaysay, one of our founding members, something called the Family Leadership Module, where every individual formulates their own individual strategic plan. You bring in your family to make it a family strategic plan, and you parcel out assignments within the family, how to achieve your strategic plan. And since Magsaysay's core company value is competency-based assignments, we try to do it within the families as well. So people get assigned to tasks that they're good at, not necessarily, si mommy mag-budget because that's what moms do, they handle finances, or si ate maglalaba because that's what they do, or magluluto. It's really what you think you're good at, and where you think you can be most helpful, and how a family can work together to achieve a goal, rather than to overburden specific members of the family and others not doing their share. So as I said, these are really initiatives that we've been implementing in the private sector, but I think these are those that might work because they're created for people with busy breadwinners, overburdened breadwinners, and we'd like to involve a little bit more of the extended family in helping out your breadwinners. There's a lot more that the PBCWE is doing. Mostly we've been working with businesses, but increasingly as we've been going around the country and during events where we see government organizations, we've been asked, are there things that PBCWE can do with government? So these are just some of the things. I think I'll have a little bit more of a conversation with your senior management later to talk a little bit more in detail about these. But I hope you learned something new about private sector and diversity. Thank you again for standing here very patiently and listening to me. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. Have a great week and maraming salamat po sa inyo.